My name is Dr. Robert Allen. I'm with Hearing Doctors of Georgia, and we are a group of audiologists practicing all kinds of audiology care in terms of hearing loss, balance issues, ringing in the ears across the south part of the metro Atlanta area. It's important to educate everyone on dementia, Alzheimer's, as well as hearing loss because of the amount of money people are having to spend out of pocket every year. Currently, we're in the billions of dollars, and by 2050, it's estimated costs for care of dementia and Alzheimer's will reach upwards of $1 trillion. Some signs and symptoms of dementia and Alzheimer's can be impulsivity, vision issues, motor control issues, as well as asking questions that you've already answered before. Events like this are fantastic for the community because it gives a chance for caregivers to come out, organizations to come out that support caregivers, as well as people that need to learn more about the issue. It provides them with all kinds of information, what resources are available for them, as well as giving people a network of other people that are in their same shoes. We want to be a partner with this because we know how important it is to help people manage dementia and Alzheimer's. In terms of hearing loss and balance issues, that is something that can absolutely affect people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So we want to be able to provide some kind of secondary care.
My name is Dr. Tyler Lohman. I am one of the audiologists with the Hearing Doctors of Georgia. We are a practice that has 4 different locations across South Metro Atlanta. So as more and more research comes out about Alzheimer's and dementia, we really think at the Hearing Doctors of Georgia that it's very important to educate people on the importance of both of those. So as research comes out, hearing loss is actually one of the #1 modifiable risks that someone can make for a patient with Alzheimer's and dementia as far as slowing down those symptoms that loved ones and people in the community are seeing in them. I think that, again, it's usually seen by family members and people who spend the most amount of time, so those caregivers that are spending time with loved ones that have starting to have symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia. So some things that we see are forgetfulness, impulsivity, asking more and more questions, asking for repetitions. We might see anger or even some lashing out. And I think it's important to be able to recognize those signs and symptoms so that you can seek proper help. I think awareness is highly important in a ever-changing world such as Alzheimer's and dementia. I think some of the speakers that are talking today at this event talk about the many different kinds of Alzheimer's and dementia. And I think that it's very important as a community that we keep each other educated, that it's a support system. Again, it takes a village, so taking care of a loved one is not just something that just one caregiver can usually do on their own. So I think as a team effort, it's very important that we all educate each other, that we're all there as a support system for one another. So as an audiologist, I think some things that a perception that someone may have of us is that they just take care of their hearing aids or they just take care of their hearing healthcare needs, but a huge part of what we do is actually also a support system for their family. And so I think being a part of an event such as this is kind of just being there for caregivers, being there for the community. I think, again, it takes a village of providers to take care of someone who has Alzheimer's and dementia. And really give them the most out of life and give them the best quality of life that we can.
My name's Johnny Wilson. I represent the board, District 1 on the Board of Commissioners of Henry County. So the signs and symptoms of the dementia, what I've experienced in my family is behavior change of your elderly. It could be younger people, but grandmothers and my mother, you see some things happening with them with behavior change. Is probably get them to a doctor, see what's causing that, and get them diagnosed for that particular reason. It could be something other than, So if you realize they have an altered mental status, you probably need to get them seen by professional health care. I think it brings everyone together at the same time and gets everybody on the same page, get them educated to look for signs and symptoms and how to care for them. I think today we're talking about caregivers are here to be educated on how to take care of their loved ones, and so I think it's important that they get all the information they can where they can move forward to maybe create some other avenues for education. So I think this is a good point, a good beginning point for for the caregivers in our community. I was invited here today by Miss Susan Tucker, and she wanted me to speak. So searching for the subject matter to speak on, I really couldn't think of which subject, because I come from an EMS background, so I thought, well, let's look at the EMS side of it. But then the more I thought about it, I said, let's just look at some families, some experiences I'm having in my own family, and I'm going to be speaking on that today. So events like this, what they do for the community, they bring them all together and they educate them how to take care of the loved ones once they realize that they're facing this type of disease. And so it really brings them together to educate, and that way they can go out and educate other people as well. So it keeps these patients or these elderly people in their homes. That way these people can be taken care of in the homes instead of in a facility. So this is why it's important today to come together and gather information where they can care for the loved ones. So,
I'm David Mann, president of Strong Rock Christian School. I think the reason it's so important to educate is because there's so many people that have been compromised with dementia and Alzheimer's. That number seems to be growing, and what we found is that early prevention helps patients, and it helps longevity of life, and it helps the quality of life. So if it can be diagnosed early, we find that bottom line, it's just a better overall picture for families, for caregivers, and for those involved with the effects of this disease. The signs and symptoms involved vary, and I think we find daily that there are new and there are additional indications of unique signs of dementia and Alzheimer's. I think for us and our family, it started with hearing loss and the need for hearing aids. From that, it's progressed to some memory challenges and to quite a bit of confusion. I'm dealing right now with a father that's 79 years old, and it's quite a privilege to get to care for him as a caregiver right now. And we've watched those signs and those symptoms kind of modify and mature. And what we found is that as we were educated and as we were prepared, we were able to make sure that we understood that you don't have to reason with the unreasonable. And it's not that Dad is being unreasonable in his temperament, it's just that his mind is not reasoned. And so when we learned and kind of have really kind of focused on, with God's help, that we don't have to reason with that unreasonable mind, it's helped us not try to change or convince or redirect, but just to accept where he is today and to be able to serve him. So those signs and symptoms modify and vary from day to day. There are good days and then there are struggles for him. In every case, it's a privilege to get to serve him. It's a privilege for Strong Rock Christian School to be a host site for the Eternal Hope Healthcare Conference on Dementia and Alzheimer's. And for us, it's been a privilege to have about 100 people here just to be educated, just to be in the know of the latest and greatest and new techniques and technologies that are available for dementia and Alzheimer's patients. Obviously today there's not a cure, but what we're learning is that there are a lot of people working on what we believe will become and be a cure for these diseases. And so it's been a fascinating day to listen. As a caregiver, it's been a fascinating time for me to continue to learn and mature exactly what we should do to best serve my dad as a patient and as a father. And so I think education is critical, and I think we continue to learn that and be reminded that God is in control and that His Word says, above all things, I wish that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And so we just see God's hand moving in and through this conference today, and know that everything that happens, He's in control of. And it's been so refreshing to be reminded of that as well. The partnership was extended by Susan Tucker Wilson, and she asked earlier this year, in maybe January, if we would consider being a site partner. And for us, it's a community outreach for the school. It allows us to bring people that might not normally have an opportunity to be inside our school. here in Locust Grove. And so for us, it's a win-win. Not only is there an educational benefit, but it blesses us to have new faces here on our grounds so that people can know the miracle that is Strong Rock and the magnificent vision that is behind it.
I'm a retired pharmacist diagnosed with Lewy body dementia at age 64. And through this time, about 2 years after I was diagnosed, I began advocacy, helping families affected by dementia to better understand what's taking place and what life can be like, and there's life beyond the diagnosis. Unfortunately, very few resources are provided to a family once the diagnosis occurs. And to be able to come in and try to help people understand what's taking place and the ways to manage those situations is very heartwarming, and it touches the heart. Well, I'll speak specifically about Lewy body dementia, which is the second leading cause of dementia, second to Alzheimer's. Lewy body has the memory problems. It has the hallucinations, visual, possibly audio, smell hallucinations. It has REM sleep behavior, where you can physically act out dreams. About 70% of people with Lewy body will have that type situation. Parkinson's is part of it. It's sort of a disease of many faces. It's a roller coaster ride. It's the highs and lows of life. Anytime we can get the community together, we can help destigmatize, take away that stigma, and help people understand that dementia does not deserve a stigma. It's a condition. It's a neurological condition. And the same things that are done for other types of diseases are much different than when you get dementia, because people will think they don't know what to say. They're afraid to say the wrong thing, all these things. But reducing that stigma and helping them understand that, and to help them understand the path, help them understand what's taking place, help them understand that there is life after diagnosis, and start living. This is the 4th event I've done with Eternal Hope. It's a lot of fun because you're able to touch somebody's life. And when you do that, you know, their heart's touched, but mine is touched because they see a path forward. And so it's a win-and-win combination. And I have a lot of fun in dementia advocacy. I don't look at my condition as a stumbling block. I look at it as an opportunity to help those families.